the conference that was held in Ibadan on January 9, 1950, the various conferences in 1953, 1954, 1958, 1959, leading to the Independence Constitution and the Republican Constitution of 1963. What we find, however, is a country that came into existence, but whereby the people do not see themselves as one. Making Nigerians see themselves as one is where the challenge lies.
Okay, so as it stands now, a lot of people have asked the question that, look, we've had so many opportunities to talk, but you think those discussions are not genuine?
These discussions are genuine because the discussions continued even after independence, after 1960, after 1963. But what happened, of course, is that the differences among the people became supreme. The Civil War also changed the course of Nigeria. The military took over, and they imposed on Nigeria a unitary system of government instead of a federal system of government that recognizes the differences, the diversity. We always talk about unity in diversity, but we don't have unity in diversity. Instead, what we have is diversity in unity. Now, to ensure that unity in diversity, in my view, seems to be the major challenge that Nigeria faces at this moment.
Dr. Abati, if you look at the agitations from the Southeast region, and you look at what the northern Arewa youths are saying in the northern part of the country, and if you look at the meeting and the import of that meeting of the southern leaders in Lagos on last Sunday, the agitations that presently, as we see today, what would you say had caused the renewed tension? We've seen this tension some 40 years ago. We've seen this kind of tension some 15 years ago or so. Now we've seen this tension. The issue of us discussing our being together has always been a conversation. But what do you think necessarily brought about this renewed? Remember that there was a time during the 1993, 92, 93, 94, when the issue of whether or not a Yoruba man needs to lead this country, the issue whether or not the Northern needs to maintain a 4-year and 8-year term, these issues have always come. But this renewed one, what do you think is at the center, at the heart of it?
The same old issue. Issues of equity, of federalism, of justice, of citizenship, of a sense of belonging. These are the issues. Now, if you have a country whereby some people feel that they are marginalized, they are shortchanged, and they feel that the constitution or the various processes do not respect their rights as citizens, you have this kind of tension. At the moment in Nigeria, we have 3 tendencies. We have the unitarists, the people who say Nigeria is okay as it is, and that there is nothing wrong with the Nigerian constitution, and that, look, it's okay for this central government to be dominant, predominant, and for certain groups in Nigeria to predominate. Then you have the secessionists, who say that this system is not working, and who insist that, look, we would rather leave this arrangement. Okay? Hence you have Biafra, hence you have the people calling for Republic of Ududua, hence you have people in the middle belt saying the North is not monolithic, we're not part of the North, and then you have the federalists. People who argue that the solution to all of this is federalism, or what they call true federalism, or what some people call restructuring, or what they call,
what do you think is the middle point in all of these, the different ideologies or the different standpoints?
The middle point in all of this is ensuring that Nigeria works for all citizens.
Let me show you a portion of what you wrote recently on democracy, Biafra, and a sense of history. Let me just pull out the portion of it. You said, and I quote, "Today, democracy has given the Nigerian people voice. There is a greater consciousness of the power of the people, as well as the need to hold persons in power accountable. The electoral process is still imperfect, but the people are now supremely confident of their right to choose. But not all our problems have been solved. For example, exactly 50 years ago today, the late Emeka Odumego Ojukwu, hero of the Biafran Revolution, led the people of the Bight of Biafra on a secession move out of Nigeria." What exactly is in the heart of what you wrote?
No, the point is this. In 1956, during the discussions towards independence, the main issue when the motion was moved was that Nigerians wanted to take ownership of their own country. It is the same argument today. A lot of people criticize the Northerners, okay, as we call them, that they want to dominate Nigeria, they want a unitary system of government. But if you go back to the answers and you check the debate in 1956, in fact, the Northerners wanted this thing we call true federalism, which is a situation whereby the people take ownership of the governance of Nigeria, and what you have is a bottom-up process rather than a top-bottom process. But today, the same Northerners have been accused of wanting a top-bottom, which is one of the ironies of the Nigerian reality. So the major challenge, the point being made there, the Igbos, okay, 1966, 1967, up to 1970, what they were saying through secession is that, look, we want a country where we can be in charge of our own affairs. And I think that the main issue is for us to address all that main issue that has been addressed since 1956, 1950, in fact, 1950, up to 2014. There was another conference in 2014, which is to say, look, we should have a country where the people are in charge of their own affairs, where Nigeria is not hijacked by a group or a cabal.
Before we take a breather, Dr. Abati, you did say that there is a greater consciousness of the power of the people. Do you see a difference in what the elites in the north or in the south and are saying and what the words on the streets of the ordinary Nigerian people? Is there a difference in those two words?
Well, I think, all of us, whether we are Northerners or Southerners, we all want one thing. If you look at the conversation, right? We want a country that works. We want a country where we can send our children to school. We want a country where we can realize our potentials and expectations can be fulfilled and all of that. Okay? Whatever your tribe is, whatever your ethnic group is, you want a country that functions.
That's the underlying.
That is the basic.
Do you
How
think
do you interpret it?
Yeah.
Some people say the way we can get this is through secession. Some people say it's through federalism. Some people say it's by controlling power and holding on to it. Okay, but at the end of the ordinary man on the street, as different from the elite, who is selfish, self-serving.
Dr. Abati, before we go on this break, do you think there's been a leadership failure in this country?
Certainly.
All right, we'll go on a break, but when we come back, more on the conversation as we dissect the 2014 confab and its essence on the present situation. Which way, Nigeria? Join us again after this break.